So today now we learn about how to create records in Salesforce using Lightning Aura component. How to create, let's say, account record in Lightning Aura component. So now we'll see how we can insert the data, how we can create the records with the help of Lightning Aura component. So for that, if we talk about steps, create an Aura component, create input form, create an apex class, and define a method. Send input data from Aura component to JS controller and send input details to Apex controller from JS controller. So let's create the component first. Lightning Aura component, file, new, Lightning component, create account records. That's the component. So here, if you see, there are certain interfaces which you see options like Lightning tab, Lightning page, Lightning record page, experience builder or site page, Lightning quick action. That means if you want to use this component as a tab, as a page, or in communities, or as a quick action, or on the record page, then we will be going to check these checkboxes. So for example, let's say if I want to create either a tab or a page, so I can select this interface and this interface too. So when I will select, I will get like implements force column. There are certain interfaces which help us to make this component visible for other places like either for tab, for page, for communities, or quick action or record page. Okay, let me submit it. Now you will see that okay, we have to log in again. Session is expired. All right, I'm going to repeat the steps again. Lightning component, create account record, and I'll check these two checkboxes as of now. So when this component will be in the picture, we will have these interfaces: implements, force colon app hostable, flexi page, available all page types. So we can create the tab or we can create the page because we have got these interfaces. So this has already implemented as I have checked the checkbox. I can add more interfaces as well, or I can remove these as well. If I remove these input these interface, that means I will restrict the visibility of this component. This component won't be available outside of this of the application. Means we cannot create the tab or page if we remove these implemented interfaces. Now here I will create the form. Let me use one SLDS class. SLDS page header account form. Here I will create the input, lightning colon input. And let's say if I want to store the I want to create the form to input the name, then lightning input, I need to provide the type. Probably it will be text, label, enter name or account name. We can also add the value attribute. I'll tell you that part as well. So I have created one input. Let's create two or three inputs as well. Enter phone, enter rating. So this is the input tag. You can check the documentation of this lightning tag, what all attributes are supported. So I'll show you in the component library. You can refer the same to check all the supported components. That's lightning aura. And here, let's say if you want to create any input for date, so you can use date inputs. Here in the example, you will see then type will be date if you want to create anything of date type. For time input, type will be time. For password, type will be password. And for checkbox, type will be checkbox. So if you see something common, the tag will be same, only one tag, lightning input. You will keep replacing the type. So let's say if you want to create something for email, then type will be email. For telephone input, type will be tel. So either we can put the tel there, or we can put text, because that is same. There is no challenge of that. Coming back to the code, label and what all other attributes are supported there, name, value. Even though you can go to the documentation or specification, here you can see what all the things you can pass. So everything you can refer here for your reference. So all the attributes you can pass on that input. Let me put it in application. My first step, create account record. Let's preview it and see the magic. It's being loaded. So we have got the input forms. You can type the data, your relevant input, name, rating, and phone. So to send the data from Aura to JS controller, we have to create button. So when we will click on that button, the same time we will send this data to the JS controller. Go to the component. Here you can add the button, lightning colon button, label, create account, variant. So we give variant to define a particular color for that. So let's say if I'm not adding the variant, what will be the default color? and then on click function. Let's say c dot create account records. That's my button. So let me save it and see that. That is saved. We will get the button on UI now. We have got the button create account. If I press it, it will give me an error. Let's see. You can see unable to find action create ACC racks. Reason is I haven't defined my JavaScript method yet. So when I press this button on click, it is trying to find out the JS function, which is not there. That's the reason it is saying unable to find the action. Now, as I said, I will if I add the brand here, color combination will change. I'm adding as variant as a brand. So now it will be in blue. We have base, brand, or destructive. There is one more. There are four attributes which we can pass here. Okay. Now, rather than putting it here, let's create one footer div class equals to slds dash doc dash footer, and I'll add my button in that footer. So this time it will come at the bottom side and it will be all automatically aligned. Okay, let's refresh it. So it is dogged form footer. So once it is loaded, it will come here. You can see, right? You can see the alignment of this. So here your button is coming. If I click, still I will get the error because I haven't defined the JS function. So copy this name, come here, paste it. Let me put something alert for now, calling this. I refresh it and when I'll click on the button, I will get the alert. I should get the alert. We have got the alert and this is being called successfully. Now when I press this button, I want to send this data to the JavaScript controller. So how we can send, let me show you that. Okay, so there are certain ways to send the data from Aura to JS. So what all certain ways are there? One is Aura ID. We have Aura ID attribute, which is the Aura components attribute, Aura colon ID. So I will use this attribute to pass the data equals to AC name. Similarly, I'll pass this everywhere. AC phone, AC rating. Now I need to find value of Aura ID in my JS controller. So how I can find? I have syntax for that. In JS, I'll define my, let's say I need to have the account name. I'll use this particular Aura ID which I have defined on the input to get the data here. So syntax is component dot find, put the ID, and we need to get the value. So this will give me the actual value which I have entered or I will enter there. Same thing with ACC font and ACC rating. I need to replace the or ID only. Now let me console all the values. So my first task is to get the values from UI to GS controller. Let's save it and see the magic. If everything is right, I should be able to see the all these values here in JS. So Ravi, some account, some phone number, rating, let's say hot. If I click on create account, the same time I should have these values here, which are here already. I can see name, phone, and rating which I have entered. Now my next task will be when I click on this button, the same time I want to pass these attributes which I have in JS controller to the server side controller, means to my Apex. For that, as I had put into the steps, even if you have noticed, create an Apex class and define a method which will accept three parameters which we will pass from component. So go to your JS, here create the Apex class, create account records controller. I will define one method here, public static. I want to return string type of data, and that will be the ID. Means when I will pass the data here, once I'm getting the data, I will insert the account record, and when my record is inserted, I will return the ID of that new record. It will accept three parameter. One is string, account name, string, account phone, string, account rating. And here I will pass this data. So this method should be or enabled. I'll create the instance of account, and I'll map all these attributes here. Dot name equals to the name which I'm passing from the JavaScript or which I will receive here. On and rating. Whatever the rating you are passing from the UI, I will get that here. Now here I will insert account, and my job is done here. I also need to return acc.id, ID of that created record. I need to add this Apex class in my component as a controller. And here I will be going to make a server side call. So to make the server side call, where action equals to component dot get C dot function name. Function is this. So what will be the major challenge or major here? We need to pass all these attributes to the server side controller. So how we can pass the data? We will be going to use the same instance of that method. Action dot set params. We need to pass the data in the form of key and value. So key will be the parameter which you had written here. Let's say account name, and value will be the value which you want to pass. Comma, next key means next parameter. Similarly, another next parameter. That is ACC rating, this rating. Now my this part is done. I have set the parameters. Now I'll accept these parameters in Apex controller, server side controller. Action dot set callback this comma function AC records $a dot NQ action and action. As previously in my previous example, I have said like we can use any attribute. You can use create account records. You can use action, whatever you want, you are comfortable with. Here, with the help of this attribute, we'll get the state first, where state equals to attribute dot get state. If state is success, if states equals to success, then we will get the ID, where ACC ID equals to dot get return value. We will first alert this account record created successfully plus ID. If something went wrong, error, I will alert error occurred. This part is also done. Now I will refresh it and I'll enter the values. If everything is smooth, I should be able to create the account record and should have the ID of that account. So let me click on create. Now processing is happening in backend and I have got the ID of the account record, which I can see. Let me show you that account. So I'll navigate to the account detail page. Here we go. We have got the account. Let's go to the details. Name, phone, and rating. We have entered three inputs there. Now let's say when I'm getting the account created, I want to navigate to the detail page instantly. So what I can do to navigate, I'll use JavaScript function window dot open slash plus that ID. Means if account record is inserted successfully, instantly I'll navigate to the account detail page automatically. Ishita number and click on create account. So you can see here. If I generate the exception, I'll get the alert. So we can see we have got the data here. Let's say I put the rating NA and click on create account. Still, actually, I haven't applied the probably validation for that. We can put the validation there. So I'll put the required attributes there. So let's say if I do not put any value, it will ask me to complete this field, provide the value in that. So let's say I'm not typing anything. First thing, if you notice, it's coming in red, star is there, asterisk. Complete this field, complete this field, and complete this field. So if I want to customize the error message, I want to put like please enter the name, not like complete this field. So I can do that. Go to your documentation component library. There is one tag message when value is missing. Message when value missing. I'll use that. So how I will use? I'll simply paste that equals to please enter account name. So I'm going to show you for one. Okay, so let's say if I do not enter anything, please enter account name. For others, it will be like complete this field because I haven't added that. So you can add similarly. Now that was the one way using the Aura ID. We have certain more ways to get the values. So what we can do, we can define the attributes or attributes. Let me show you with the help of Aura attributes as well. Here I will use value attribute. So as I'm using Aura attribute, so value provider will be v dot variable name. Save it in your JS here. So rather than using Aura ID, what I'll do now, I will use my value providers. Let me comment these. That's multi-line comment in JS. That will be component dot get v dot attribute name. So this time, rather than getting the data, uh, something is missing. Correct. So a copy pasting. Okay. So we will get the data. I'll even we can check in the console.log. Let's open the app that has been closed. Preview it. I'll console the data, whether we are getting the data with the help of or attributes or not. Okay, so here let's say Manish old. Okay, if I click here, create account, I should get the data. First in here, we have got the data here. If everything is well, it will create the account in backend and will move to the account detail page. Now, as we have learned two ways, one is either Aura ID we can use or Aura attributes. But there can be one challenge. Let's say right now we have three inputs. If we have 15, 20, 30 inputs, in that case, you need to create 30 attributes. So there will be like lots of code. So in those scenarios, what we can do, we can create the attribute of object type, and we can use the same attribute throughout the process. How? Aura attribute name obj acc type account. Here we have to initialize that, like s object colon name will be account comma name, let's say Ravi. I will be going to use this now, dot name dot font dot rating. My UI will be same here. If you see, nothing difference. Okay, so by default we are getting name. Reason is I have defined the name there as a default attribute. Now how I can get this attribute in JS? So to get that, rather than using this rush, what I'll do, I'll simple use where count v dot account. Similarly, I also remove these attributes. And I also need to change the attribute here in server side controller. So rather than using three attributes, this time there will be one attribute of type account, and directly I will insert that. Again, if everything is fine, I should be able to get the account record. Now let me refresh it. Last one. So when I'll click on create, I will get the data here. We have got the data here. It will insert and it will navigate to the detail page. So this is how we can create the form, input form to create the records for any custom object or standard object. You can use either or attribute, you can use variables or instance variable of s object type, and you can insert the accounts.